Hey guys, welcome back to Behind the Vine with Brendan. Today, it's my first time and you all get to witness it. My first time trying the #1 whiskey of the year, Alberta Premium Cask Strength Rye. Jim Murray just put out his whiskey Bible for the year, the #1 whiskey of the year, this guy right here. I got a couple bottles, I sold a couple bottles. Somebody silly in Wisconsin didn't take their allocation, if you can believe that nonsense. So I asked my rep if I could get a couple more bottles, and I decided I need to buy one because I need to try it, because you don't get this opportunity very often. If I can get more, it'll be here, but for now, you just have to live vicariously through me. But I'm gonna taste this for the first time today. I'm gonna taste it up against my favorite rye. I can already smell it. I'm going to taste it two ways. I'm going to taste it neat, just like this. I'm going to taste it with a little ice cube in it. I love the way the ice cube, the water, as it starts to melt, just adds to the aromatics. It just kind of brings it alive a little bit more. I find that with a lot of whiskeys that to be the case. So Alberta Rye, these guys are owned by Beam Suntory. They're a huge group that own a plethora of whiskey, bourbon brands. And typically while they've owned this brand had been kept to Canada, which I guess I didn't tell you that this is a Canadian rye whiskey technically. This had been kept in Canada, so we couldn't get it here in the US up until very recently. And other grains that these guys farmed, they sold to the United States. So we got it in the form of Whistle Pig, we got it in the form of Masterson's. So we got it here in the US, just not this particular brand. So smelling it, you get that burst of rye, which is great. It's got this nice spice to it. It also has this honeyed component that I didn't think that I would get off of a rye, especially at a cask strength. This one's 66% alcohol. That's 132 proof. That's fiery right there, you guys. The rye spice is just fantastic. And it also has these nice baking spices going on that I really enjoy. I also get a little bit of what's reminding me of like fresh ground coffee and something almost like gingerbread. There should be a flame shooting out of my mouth right now. And while it has a strong burn that's actually making my eyes water, it doesn't burn your throat. It warms you up, that's for sure. But it doesn't like burn this way. You feel it in the mouth. Alcohol, you're going to feel it. But it's really well done. Extreme notes of like vanilla, almost like a dark fruit, almost like a intense cherry or a dried cherry maybe, and almost a kiss of citrus. This is pretty amazing. Some other spices that I can't quite pull out, maybe almost a licorice thing as well, but I'm just gonna add one baby ice cube. It's already melting. It can feel the heat too. Completely changed on the nose. The rye's there, of course. It almost reminds me of like creme brulee, like burnt sugar a little bit. Bartolotta's Lake Park Bistro creme brulee right here. Vanilla, caramelized sugar, I'm gonna give that just a moment while we taste it against what has been up until this point my favorite rye whiskey ever. Angel's Envy Rye. I wish I could get more of this. I've been able to buy 2 bottles here at the shop since we've opened. I know we'll get more eventually. This is a bottle I bought way before we were opened, as you can tell. But so what do I like about this one so much? It has that rye spice that you get off of this one. It is 100 proof, so it is cut. But that rum barrel finish, which you can't see because it's a see-through bottle, but Angel's Envy finishes this rye in former Caribbean rum barrel casks. And I love rums. It just makes this stupendous. I love it. And both of these products are around the same price, so this is a fair comparison. Except I'm already biased to this one. Completely different nose. It still has the spice. It is, I mean, the licorice is overwhelming, but the honey is overwhelming as well. Overwhelming in a good way. I don't mean overwhelming like it's overtaking everything else. The licorice is really strong today. I don't know, maybe there's a full moon and that there was a full moon and that makes you smell licorice, I think. Toffee and caramel, and this is why I love this so much. It's got burn, but it's good. I'm only kind of getting it on my tongue. I'm not getting it everywhere else in my mouth like I was with this guy. Incredible amount of toffee on the palate. It tricks your mind because you know that it's aged in rum barrels or that it's finished in rum barrels. So it tricks your mind. You already have a preconceived notion of what it's going to smell and taste like just knowing that it's finished in rum barrels. And that's okay. If only I could just get more. So I'm gonna do the same little driblet of most of my ice is melting, but the licorice is even more pronounced now that I've diluted it a little bit. Let's go back to this guy. It needs an ice cube. I haven't typically been a huge fan of cask strength stuff. I find that the stuff that's at the bottom end of the spectrum, like 90 proof, I'm not crazy about, but I don't dislike. Cask strength stuff, so anything, 118, 120, 130, I oftentimes find them a little out of balance. And then stuff that's right around 100, quinkadink there, I find them to be the most in balance and the most all-around pleasing. If you're just going to sit there and drink it neater with 1 or 2 ice cubes, which is something I like to do, they're just so much more pleasing. The spice on this one has come alive with water. Come alive. I wish you could taste it, but you can't because I sold it all, sorry. But someday you'll be able to taste it. Caramel, toffee, delicious. I can see why this was rated so high. Is it the #1 whiskey in the world? According to someone, it is. And I truly enjoy it. I really like it. It didn't upset my favoritism over here, though. I think I put a splash too much water in there. creamy toffee, caramel. Touch of citrus on this one I'm getting as well. The licorice is very pronounced on the nose, but the good thing is it's not as pronounced on the palate, which I think is a good thing because it can be overwhelming to have too much of a licorice quality, I think. But you can't go wrong with either one of these options. Again, roughly the same price. You're going to find these in the $85 to $100 window is where these are most likely going to fall. So if you can ever get your hand on either one of these, you're not going to be disappointed, especially if you like ryes, if you like that spicy component, if you enjoy something a little different than just bourbon. I'm not crazy about Angel's Envy bourbon. It's good, but I'm not like blown away with it. This one I had been seeking out for 3 years. There must have been a drought or something because we could not get it here in Wisconsin. Finally able to get it again, but still in very, very small quantities. As far as the Alberta Premium Cask, I don't know how it looks going forward as far as coming into the United States or finding it here in Wisconsin. But if you can find it, I'm going to do everything I can to keep it here in the shop, which I don't have any right now, of course, but I will do my best to keep getting it as long as it's available. It is another allocated product, so hopefully we can get more soon. But until I see you the next time, cheers.